morphine's unofficial motto is the sick person gets the most. And the family gets the rest.
Oh, thanks, you guys. Thank you very much. Right on. Thank you for coming out tonight, you guys. I really appreciate it. It's a show called 45 Jokes About My Dead Dad. And you guys thought that would be a reasonable way to spend a Saturday night. This, I guess, bodes well for my upcoming musical about Ebola. Really, it's very I think we'll have some good attendance. So if you don't know what's going on, or this is just comedy about my dad. My dad died in March. He had lung cancer for 9 months before that, and then he was in hospice for 10 days. And when something that inherently funny just drops in your lap, it's thank you. So I know it's a sensitive topic, and I just want you guys to know I'm pretty experienced. I've been a comedian for 27 years. Yes, I've been doing stand-up comedy for 27 years. I am an Emmy-nominated writer for the Conan Show. Yes, Emmy-nominated. That's correct. So I think I know what I'm doing. Knock, knock. Not my dad, he's dead. That's the first joke, guys. 44 more to go. And then we're all going to get the massage of a lifetime. I organized a Groupon for everybody here. It's gonna be pretty awesome. No, my dad died in March, so I feel like of the Kubler-Ross 5 stages, I've been through 3: denial, anger, Twitter. This might be 4, the stand-up special. And then 5 is finding distribution. That's an LA audience. You know exactly what the stages of death and dying are. I had amazing support. Like, you do not have to feel bad for me. My family, everyone's been amazing. My boyfriend, oh my gosh, in bed, he stopped asking, "Who's your daddy?" And he started asking, "Who's the father figure you would like me to pretend to be from behind?" Just so sensitive and so sweet. I'm very lucky. And I'm sure I'm not alone. Has anyone else, I'm sure some other people have lost a parent, correct? Yeah. Wow, it's nice to know the recovery that's available. Woo! By the way, this is, in all my years of comedy, this is the most uncomfortable crowd work I've ever participated in. It's a lot, usually, who's Armenian? I guess Glendale's empty today. It's so much more preferable than who's got a dead parent. So it is tough to lose a parent. It's even tougher if you were hoping to lose the other parent first. My mom is a pistol. And that's what you want to put in your mouth when she talks to you. A loaded pistol. I'm not the only one who feels that way. My dad's last words to me were, "Ha ha, she's your problem now." And then he ascended to heaven like a conquistador. That reminds me, guys, if there's any there's any joke here tonight that's too rough, I want you to know that you have my feminist permission to stare at my boobs until you feel better. They're pretty big. People seem to enjoy them. I do a disservice by calling them boobs. This is a bosom. This is matriarchal. This is comforting. So
if there's any time where you like cringe a little, you just mentally put your head right between lefty and righty and let them go. They're very comforting. My dad, I take comfort in the fact that he died doing what he did best, growing tumors. It was a skill he learned late in life, guys, but boy, he turned into a world-class master. It was pretty amazing, you know? Even the last week of his life, he was like, more! I was like, Dad, relax, calm down, Dad. His work ethic is just so inspiring to me. That's, My friend goes, oh, I get it. It's like you're roasting your dad. And I was like, yeah, poor choice of words. He was cremated. My mom and my sister and I each have a bit of his ashes, and I was keeping his ashes in a vase on the mantle, and then we had an earthquake, and the mantle shook and the vase fell. So now I keep his ashes in the vacuum cleaner. It's not disrespectful. I went out and got a special vacuum cleaner. I'm like, stay there. Don't move, Dad. I'm getting you a Dyson right now. This Kirby is not worthy of you. I'm getting cyclone technology. No, I actually have some right here. I have this little ring. It's a clatter ring, and in the heart you can put ashes. So I keep them here. This helps me keep close to my dad, having the ashes right here. I like it. It also helps me get out of a lot of hand jobs. Guys are like, what's that? I'm like, that's my dad. Where did it go? What am I squeezing? Now, admittedly, it could be my hand job technique is also getting me out of some of the hand jobs. The old squeeze and release. It's what I'm known for. But I'll stop that one right now. That joke stops abruptly after 2 minutes. It's so strange that you can keep ashes and no one thinks it's weird. I mean, that is a physical piece of your loved one, is their ashes. You know, you can wear them, you can keep them. It's totally acceptable. But bones, not acceptable. I don't know why. It seems like it would be the coolest thing in the world to have your loved one's bones. I'd love to wear bones. Why do we let murderers have all the fun? I'd love to wear a neck around my neck. A neck necklace. How meta is that? People will be like, that is so pretty. And you could be like, thank you, it belonged to my grandmother. My dad, 2 weeks before my dad died, he went shopping at Costco. He had an oxygen mask on, and he bought 10 boxes of long-lasting light bulbs at Costco. I don't blame my dad. I blame Costco. They should have called me when he got to the register and said, your dad is here. He has 2 weeks to live and 180 years of light in his cart. I don't know why we let old people even buy in bulk whatsoever. As soon as an old person walks into Costco, they should be walked to a Walgreens. You can have one light bulb, and if you're still alive when it blows out, you can get another one. And when they're on oxygen, they should go right to the travel size section of Walgreens. Because clearly they're about to go on a journey. Pick up some tiny shampoos. My dad turned 83 when he was dying. That was a very strange birthday. We knew it was his last birthday. And it was odd. It was like, I didn't know what to get my dad. Do I get him something he wants? Or something I want to inherit? in what would seem to be weeks. I got him an iPad. That's what every old person wants, is to learn new technology when they're dying. In my defense, if I hadn't got my dad an iPad, all he would have inherited was 10 boxes of long-lasting light bulbs. Pretty happy with my decision. My dad would love that this is happening. He loved the fact that I was a comic, so he would go on the road with me. He would sit in the back and watch the shows. So I feel like his spirit is here tonight, and some of you are sitting on it. So, please be gentle. We had a very great relationship, even though we were on opposing sides on every single argument. This is a perfect example of me and my dad. He was a devout Catholic. So every Saturday night, he would write out a check to the Catholic Church and leave it on the table, and then go to bed, and he planned to take it to Mass the next morning. And after you go to sleep, I would take the check, and on the memo, I would write Pedophile Defense Fund. It never got old. And it never got inaccurate. We were wildly apart politically. My dad was in the Tea Party, and I'm a liberal. So we would always have these great arguments about everything. And now, as a daughter, I'm very conflicted. Like, as a daughter, I'm devastated that my dad is gone. But as a liberal... that's one less member of the Tea Party. And don't be like, oh, that joke is mean. Because I'm telling you, in a parallel universe, if Ann Coulter had a liberal father, she would make that exact same joke. That's a moot point, of course, because if Ann Coulter had had a liberal father, he would have killed himself decades ago. No one is that strong. I learned that the phrase, "I'm sorry for your loss," is perfect. It is the perfect condolence. You don't need to add anything to it. People would always go, "Were you guys close?" You know, and just so you know, I only would write jokes about somebody I was very close to, you know, except for Ann Coulter. I only made a joke about her because I look like her if she were a woman. And just to cover my ass, that Ann Coulter joke was not an anti-trans joke, okay? It was an anti-Ann joke. I actually need my own boobs as comfort at times, guys. Dad, I miss you. So... thank God I have them to comfort me. The cold nights. It's hard. People don't know when to shut up, you know? Like, this is a perfect example. Well, it's not perfect. It's very inappropriate. But I was having sex with my boyfriend, and in the middle of it, he goes, "Your pussy is so tight." And I was like, yay. No one ever tells me that. Like, I've had a baby, you know, and tight is the only adjective any woman ever wants to hear, ever. So I was like, "You're perfect." And then he kept talking. Like he's like, "It's interesting. It interests me." It ruined it. So my overall point is, in condolences and in sex, know when to shut up. Your pussy is tight. I'm sorry for your loss. So my dad had a stage 4 cancer, and that's when we discovered it. He had stage 4, and that is hard to survive. The only person I can think of that survived stage 4 cancer was Lance Armstrong. He had testicular stage 4 cancer, and he completely survived it. And Lance Armstrong is an asshole. I think it must help to be an asshole to survive stage 4 cancer, right? I think his cancer was like, this guy's a dick. He's lying to everybody. I don't want to be in his balls. I wish we could figure out a way to slow down cancer. You could just live with it, you know? Like HIV, people live with HIV now. You know, they get a cocktail, right? It sounds fun, man. You know, we slowed down Charlie Sheen. Remember a couple years ago, we thought he was gonna die? We're like, oh my God, he's got stage 4 Charlie Sheen. Right? And then, like, we were tweeting about it and joking about it, and he heard, and he paid attention. He's like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. He left CBS, he went to a safe place, FX. He's not in, like, remission. I think he just groped a dentist. So, you know, that's like stage 2 Charlie Sheen, though, right? That's practically Emilio Estevez. So my sister and I, you know, we both, you know, we were hoping my dad would beat cancer, like we had always hoped he would beat my mom. You know what's cool about being a comedian is if my mom ever hears this stuff, she's gonna think I'm joking. I don't know why I'm even talking about her right now. It's back to my dad, right? Although if she dies, I'm not telling 45 jokes about her. I will throw a party that's 45 days long. And you're all invited. So his cancer comes back. He you know, had some successful chemo, and then it came back right around the 9-month mark. And oncologists, those cancer doctors are oncologists, and they use the most benign language to describe the most malignant shit. Like, the cancer would come back, and you could see tumors in my dad's back, like, sticking out, and my dad's sitting over there, and the oncologist is like, well, the chemo is not providing the results that we'd hoped for. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Yeah, my dad looks like a sack of apples. Yeah, that's not the results we'd hoped for, doctor. So it was time for my dad to go into hospice. And hospice, there's 2 kinds of hospice. You can send somebody to a hospice space, which is nice, with walls that have been painted in the last 50 years, furniture that matches. Or you can bring them home, where they die surrounded by shit they always meant to give to Goodwill. That's the option we took. My dad spent most of his hospice on a couch from IKEA. Here's a little fact. It's the first piece of furniture in IKEA history to outlast its owner. Usually falls apart before you do, but not in this case. So the hospice nurse comes, and hospice is just a completely surreal situation. So she brings 6 vials of morphine, and she goes, well, you know what? You give this to your dad, make sure he's comfortable, and then if there's any left, you just give us a call, and we'll come get it. I was like, wow, very laid back. I didn't realize an opiate could be on the honor system. Already? And then you sign a contract. They put a contract in front of you where basically, when your loved one starts to die, you can't help them. You know? So I was like, oh, it's like being a doctor at Kaiser. Well, they did not find it amusing. You sign this contract, and you say, like, you check off, you're not going to call a doctor, you're not going to call an ambulance, you won't call 911. If your car starts to die in this process, you can't even call AAA. Which, makes sense. AAA would be tempting. My dad needs a jump. And if it doesn't work, he's going to need a tow. So anyway, I'm signing all
all this stuff. I'm initialing and signing it, and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? This is insane. I really don't know how I'm going to make it through this process. And then my eyes wander over to the 6 vials of morphine, and I'm like, oh, I understand. I think morphine's unofficial motto is the sick person gets the most. And the family gets the rest. So my sister and I were taking care of my dad. We were washing him and taking him to the bathroom and stuff. And we realized very early on there was a very high probability we might accidentally see our dad's junk. And we're like, holy shit, that can't happen. Like we had a family meeting immediately. You know, like, I don't want to see his junk. I've never seen it. I don't want to start now. Like, first of all, it's probably not at its best. If you're going to accidentally see your dad's junk, it should be when he's in his 30s and really giving it to your mom. Just... That's how dads would want to be remembered, right? No one wants their 83-year-old junk seen by anybody. I don't want my junk seen by anybody now. You heard my boyfriend. It's interesting. And yes, I know he said tight too, but he's African American, so everybody's tight to him. I'll believe it's tight when a white guy says it. So my sister and I, we made like what we called the Edipus pledge, where if one of us saw Dad's junk, the other would gouge her eyes out immediately. And we left spoons all over the house. There would not be a moment of sight if it happened. And so, you know, and every time I would clean my dad and I got in anywhere near the area, I would blow into a rape whistle. And my sister would come with blankets. And we managed to not see it. It was a great victory. We sort of high-fived each other when we realized we did his whole hospice without seeing it. And I like to think that he was in heaven high-fiving, like, you know, Korean War vets. You know, they never saw my 10 inches of terror. I don't know if that's accurate. I'm assuming that my dad was well-endowed because my son appears to be well-endowed, and that's hereditary, and it's got to have come from my father because it certainly didn't come from his. You know, some people have told me that joke is unnecessary. But you know what? I think the world's first grandfather-grandson dick joke is completely necessary. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Guys, I'm grieving. We had a ton of visitors during hospice. And this is just something I noticed. 5 people asked my dad to say hello to their dead dog. Wow. After the show, right here. Right here. After the show. There'll be a line right by the potato chips, guys, right here. 5 people wanted my dad to say hello. He had a list of like Rex, Buddy, Charlie. He actually made a list. He was very willing to do it. But 0 people asked my dad to say hello to their dead cat. That tells me that dog people believe their dogs are waiting for them. And cat people know their cats don't give a fuck. Like, your dead cat moved in with a dead family. And you are alive to him. My friend Brandy goes, oh, you have to record your dad singing happy birthday to you. So I did that, and I played that on my birthday, and that was awesome. That was such a great idea. I also recorded him saying, I'm so proud of you, Laurie. I play that like after a good show or after I turn my boyfriend down for anal. I'm so proud of you, Laurie.
So he had a couple days like that were fun, and then, relatively fun. But we just talked and stuff. And then day 8, he died on day 10. So day 8 seemed like it was going to be the day he was dying. Like he seemed unconscious to me, and so I was trying to figure out ways to wake him up, you know. And I turned on Fox News. I sat next to my dad, and I'm like, maybe a screaming Sean Hannity will bring my dad back. You know, if anything will, it will be Sean. And so we sat and watched for like 15 minutes, and my dad did not stir. I felt myself getting cancer. So I started channel surfing, and I found the sweet spot, which was the History Channel. I don't know if you know about old men in the History Channel, but they fucking love World War II documentaries. So I put on World War II, the whole war. We watched the whole goddamn war. And my dad started to stir, and he sat up, and he started drinking water. It was like this crazy parallel trajectory as Hitler rose to power. So did my dad. And then we ended up having a great night of like 2 hours of talking and memories. Like, I still cherish day 8 of Hospice. I remember that so much. And it's left me with very conflicted feelings towards Adolf Hitler. Like, I know he's a bad guy, but he's got a special place in my heart. And then day 9, it looked like the last day, and that's when I decided to extort my dad. I saved my boyfriend for what I thought would be his last day. My boyfriend, they had not met before, and as I said, my boyfriend's African American. So they met, they talked about geology. My boyfriend was a geologist, so they talked about rocks and nerded out about that, and then he left, and I go, Dad, you can't die today or people will think that you're racist. You go 83 years without dying, and then the one day you meet my black boyfriend. Does not look good, dude. And he hung on another day. And then he died the next morning. And I was there when he died. I missed his last breath because I was on my iPhone. I know. But it was a good tweet, guys. I think I got about 13 new followers, so. No, you know what? You actually are never gonna know it's someone's last breath until they don't take the next one. You know? So you're not gonna notice it unless you're a creepy person who stares at people when they breathe. But by the way, that's the look my mom gives when she's being tender. If that explains any of my jokes. She means well, but it just doesn't come out right. It would be nice if dying people would give you a heads up that they're about to take their last breath, right? Hey, everybody. Gather round. I think this is it. This is going to be my last inhale. I have one request. Nobody fart. Please. It's my last breath. I know how you people digest complex carbohydrates. And I don't want it to smell like your dinner at Taco Bell. We kept my dad. My dad died on a Sunday morning, and we kept him till Monday morning. We could have called hospice and the mortuary immediately to get them to take the body, but, you know, we had some morphine to get rid of. I'm kidding. I did not partake. I may have gotten a few drops on my tongue when I threw my head back, opened my mouth, and poured a bottle. But I only did that every day. So we decided to keep my dad because he died on a Sunday morning and the Oscars were that night. And my dad had never watched the entire Oscars ceremony. So we said, this is our last opportunity.
to make my dad watch the whole Oscars. And we sat and watched the Oscars with my dad. It was like weekend at Laurie's. He enjoyed the Oscars as much in death as he had in life. And then the next day, they came for him. And that turned out to be sort of a good idea. We didn't do this on purpose, but right after he died, he still looked like my dad. And so it would have been really hard to see him go right then. But the next day, his body had changed, and he didn't look like my dad anymore. He looked like a corpse. So when he left, it was like saying goodbye to Larry King. He's a very nice person, and he doesn't deserve that joke. But I might leave it in. This isn't called 44 jokes. Sorry. Sometimes you have to be ruthless, you guys. So his funeral ended up being on a Monday. He was supposed to have a Saturday funeral, and he got bumped to Monday. A famous lady in the Bay Area died, and the priest was like, we can't do both of these funerals on a Saturday, and this lady's gonna have a lot more mourners. And I was like, that's bullshit. It should be first die, first serve. My dad died first. And I felt like he was kind of leaning to like, all right, but I was filling out paperwork, and he saw my handwriting, and he's like, oh, if it isn't Miss Pedophile Defense Fund. You're lucky we're not burying your dad on Wednesday. So we had to do the Monday funeral. And I don't know if you know this. Funerals are like stand-up comedy. It's impossible to get people to come to the Monday show. I had to stand outside the church and bark mourners in. I was like, free funeral. The eulogizer has been on Conan. So come on in. If you pretend you're Catholic, there's one free drink. We pack the house. What's strange at funerals too is people will show up you've never heard of, you don't know. We had people I'd never seen in my entire life. This is sort of interesting. An old Japanese guy came, and he was as bereft as my mother. No one else was as upset as a Japanese guy. And he walks up to me and he goes, "Your father always say howdy to me." And it was really sweet, and I didn't want to tell him he said howdy to everybody. But it was sweet, and I went to go get my sister, and then I turned around, and the Japanese guy was gone. I was like, whoa, was this guy an angel? Or was he an emissary sent by the History Channel? To represent the Axis powers? A final tribute to their greatest viewer. Goodbye ratings, goodbye Ron Kilmartin. It's pretty sweet. I have a 7-year-old son, and 7-year-old boys are sociopaths. They only want what they want. So after the funeral, there's no register that anything sad has happened to my son. He's playing Minecraft on my phone. And I got a call. I took the phone, and I took the call, and I cried a little bit and hung up the phone. And my son goes, "Why are you sad, Mom?" And I go, "Well, we're at your grandpa's funeral. Look around. The Japanese guy seems to know why we're sad, and I don't know who the fuck he is." Right? And then he goes, "Yeah, but why are you crying?" And I almost go, "Asshole, I just told you." But then he like weasels his hand on my iPhone, and he goes, "Are you sad because I'm not playing Minecraft?" No, I'm sad because you're a fucking serial killer. That's why I'm sad. I'm Ted Bundy's mother. Oh my God. Spend the rest of my life testifying at your parole boards, and I'm gonna make him keep you. And I got him back, of course, because we kept talking. My dad had lung cancer, so he goes, how did Grandpa get lung cancer? And I go, well, he quit a long time ago, but for many, many years, Grandpa played Minecraft. There's one sociopath in this family. Time to remember that. So we went to go, went to the cemetery to put his remains into, the niche, and we had the ceremony. My dad was a Korean War vet, so we had a military funeral, which was pretty fucking cool. We had a 21-gun salute, which is 3 servicemen in uniforms and guns. And I have to tell you, men in uniform, I was quite aroused. It's very disconcerting to have sexual feelings at your father's funeral. Let me put it this way. At your father's funeral, only your eyes should be wet. And so each of the 3 had a rifle, and they shot it 7 times each, 21. And while they were shooting, I was so tempted to just push my mom in front of them. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're at a cemetery. How convenient is this? Let's turn this gun salute into a firing squad. Let's go! Ow! I'll tip you. Nothing. But the best part was taps on a bugle is really amazing. The sound, it's 24 notes, it's heartrending, and I think the buglers know that they're about to wreck the room. Because our bugler kind of walked out all cocky, like it's 1985 and he's David Lee Roth, and he's gonna have his pick after the show. Right? And he locks eyes with me, and he looks at me like, oh, you're going down, bitch. You and that well-endowed little psychopath of yours. And then he starts bugling at me. Sounded way better than that. Oh my God. And we're just like 6 notes in. I'm crying. My son is crying, and this is the first time he's cried because of an emotion and not because I turned off the TV. So he's like, he doesn't know what's happening to his body. And then the bugler finishes the song, and when he's done, my family, which had been chatting and joking before, is just leveled. Everyone's weeping. The bugler looks at us. He's happy, right? Drops the bugle. Walks off stage. I'm pretty sure my cousin gave him a blowjob. My boyfriend was there, or I would have given him the old squeeze and release. The dad's ash, squeeze and release. And then I went home. That sort of uncorked me, feelings-wise. And I went home and I went in my dad's office and I just, I wailed. I did that wail to the universe where I was like, I want my dad. I just shouted it over and over again for it felt like an hour or 2. You ever cry so hard and so thoroughly that when you finish, you like jazz? That shit is deep. So I guess in closing, I'll tell you, we had to figure out what to put on the marker on the niche. The niche is where they put cremated remains, and there's a marker that's a rectangle, and you have limited amount of space to write something. And after my dad's name, my mom was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. We only have 40 characters. I don't know what that means. I'm like, relax.
Finally, I have not wasted all my years on Twitter for nothing. Oh my God. 40 characters. It's like a little over a third of a tweet, right? I got this. Husband, dad, hashtag History Channel. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. You've been great. Thank you.